In fact, we are working as a national interest organization. We have not this label, but we are working like this. We are not, defending any special heritage or region or styles or interest. We defend heritage in general. And so by the time we are now the owner of 4 properties. And so it was from the beginning, because we were founded by Shaban Cantacuzino, who was an English architect who was Romanian. He came in England during the war as a child, escaping the war, and he decided he became an architect. So, and he decided to create the same thing in Romania, like National Trust. English National Trust, when the communist system collapsed. Our main idea is we restore the place we own, and each time it was an occasion of making work school, in fact. And but the thing we want to do is to invent models and in intervention on heritage. That means in any type, that means technique. And so for that, we had some link with, in France, the organization of skills, it's very a specialty in heritage, because in Romania, all these have been very, very on a weak level now. And other things is to use the house, because we want to recreate the link with this house and their area, because heritage without people, it doesn't mean anything, like everybody knows. And so we do that. It's very important for us. We work as a advocacy for heritage. We make some letters to the government, to the ministry, to the local, and there is problem with heritage. We try to help people who are doing this. We are working in network with the other one. Romania is not so big, so we all know each other. I'm a volunteer, and I'm not a full-time job. I'm living in Paris. I am part of the board of the foundation in Romania, and I am president of the French association we create with Pro Patrimonio France to help to have link. There is another one in England. It's the same purpose. I personally, I'm very interested in the technical things, because I am a painter, restorator, and I like the project to be on the field when I can. I go there several times a year. We work very linked by telephone and email, and I do some coordination between the board and the team, and we have 10 employees. That means, because we have people on the place we own, that means we have 4 places. That means we have a house village in the village of Viscu in Transylvania. It's the same place where the Prince Charles, the ex-Prince Charles, has a property. And with a foundation, it does a very good job in this, in the heritage field. We have a villa, which is Villa Golescu, which is in the south part of the Carpathian Mountains, which is a neo-Romanian style from beginning of the 20th century, very nice. And we are the owner of the George Enescu, the Greek musician's childhood house, his mother house, near on the Ukrainian border, that means northeast of the country, and a manor within the south of the country, which is a manor Neamțu, which a very nice place, which is not finished. The other one are achieved, but this one is not. And so we are working on this. So there is many things to see, and each of these places, as we have programs to sensibilize and to educate about heritage, especially for the youth people. I do some coordination. It depends on the needs. I do coordination between France and Romania, and I do some coordination in Romania between, as I said, the team and the board, because sometimes our president, which is Sherman Souza, who is an architect, sometimes he needs help because he has big responsibility. I can't tell you how much time I spend. It depends. It's not regular, but it's very, very, I love very much. It's very nice. I'm doing this now since the creation of the fund of Pro Patrimonio France. It was 20 years ago now. So I have many long experience. Now it's to finish the restoration of the manor, and we are always looking money. This is a big part of our work, is to look for money, because in Romania there is absolutely no help. For us, it's not exactly the case. We have tax facilities through the firms and through personal income, that people can direct a part of their taxes to an NGO or a foundation. So we can have this. But for private owners of house who are strictly private, there is nothing, because the state doesn't help private heritage to be restored. And so it's a real problem, because this private heritage have been very, very spoiled. And it's complicated if you have no money to restore ruins or very, very bad state houses. So this was a comma, and so I'll come back to the thing. So now we are finishing this system. And yes, important thing to say, if you have a private house, you can make a foundation, and it is the only way to get public money and EU fund. If you don't do that, you can't do it. And this is a regulation of the Romanian state. It's like that. So it's a problem. It's really a problem. And we to work on the different program we have. That means for the children, we make for years now, a program for heritage for the young people. That means more or less was 1 week models, and after that we use the house. We began 2 years ago to have a residency for artists, but this we began by writers and poetry, and we want to extend to others like musicians. Yes, we did for musicians in UNESCO house in Mihailen. And so this is something we want to develop. We use the house as well as a touristic place. We want to develop more residency, because it's very interesting, because it's a way of using our place as a place for culture. In most of the time, is inherited place where the culture doesn't come. So we have the idea that Konak means manors in Romania. The Konak network is something that has to be developed, because it's good way, because we have not the rigidity of official way of culture. We are very flexible. We can have new ideas, test new ideas. We began in some place, for instance, for education, to make with using IT, using like Visio, like that, to make some course, to bring a concert, to bring new activities. And there is another thing, that the education level in the rural area is very low. And so it's a plus for all the people around, for the children. And the research program as well. So we have, for instance, we will do, to explain you, we began 2 years ago a program of research, very technical, about the outside plaster. We are waiting for springtime to begin again the program in Olar. I encourage people to look to our website, because it's very well documented on all the activities. Each project has a workshop page with everything we have done for years, so with many film and photos and explanations. But what we want to have a minimum possibility of using it, not to live, not to have people to welcome, things like this, but to be used in summer for things like that. Our workshop, like work school place, and all the other one, research and programs. And sometimes, because we had many people who are asking us to help, we won this prize for Europa Nostra, Europa Nostra for the restoration we did in the wooden church of Osh. It's on the south side of the Carpathian Mountains. In this area, there were the beautiful frescoes who were painted outside and inside the church, was influenced by the Greek school of painters, and it was very, very beautiful. And so after that, we have many people who were contact us. Not before it was well, but this makes the thing grow. And in a way, we can't respond to every need. This restoration was a wonderful experience for us because it was 10 years work. And so when we began in an urgency because this church was nearly collapsing, and it collapsed very quickly. Just the core of the house, of the church. It's a wooden church and painted outside and inside. What was good for us, it was the time, because you gave time to time. And for the people of the village and people around, it was very important for them to understand what really means restoration. Not putting something down and building a new one. And there was an old man who was working close the girl who were restoring the frescoes, and he didn't understand that. And he said after some days, we didn't spoke a lot, and he said to the end, I understand now. It's like the history, you can't do it again. And another thing was that when we began, we have no ideas how long time it will take, how money we will need, and what will happen, in fact. But we had to begin because it was an emergency and the place was so nice. To the end, we spent 130,000 euros for the whole process. And on this, 40,000 were in kind. That means what was being given by the village people, by the people who gave some material, by the volunteer who came there. And it was something we couldn't imagine from the beginning. And by all these things, we understand and we have seen that the consciousness of heritage grew. And when this prize was given to us, for them it was huge things, very, very important. It was a model for others. People come from outside, from other parts of the country. When there was a ceremony to the end to resecrate the church, many people came. For us, it was the first thing. It was very good for us because we have the impression of being alone in Europe with our own problem, and to share and to understand what happened in another place was very important. Something we like very much is the work you do for law. That means for the law, for the isolation of the historic house. Something is very important for us because there is a big fight in Romania to put horrible thing on the wall of the house, included important buildings. And I think it's understand for us, it gave us the possibility to understand how Europe works. In Romania, for most of the people, Europe have not a so good reputation on the side of the, funding, of complication for the big files to do and to manage to obtain the money and so on. So we understand a little bit what is best, what could be done, but the problem for us is the co-financement, and so this is complicated. But for EU, for European historic houses, is good for us, and especially for this east part of Europe, whose problems are so different than the west side of Europe. I can say for us, European historic houses, something like a wall you can lean on. What is a thing we miss now? It's time, in fact. So we are working on an emergency problem, but I think we have accumulated a lot of experience on what we do. We initiate many things who have been reused by others. Anyway, we are happy to be part of European historic houses, and the idea of we are from Europe, and we are on East Europe, but we are from Europe, and this is something good.